So these two little crush washers have to be removed and then transferred over into the Maximum Motorsports brake pedal. That hole, I'm 99% sure is the correct hole for the hardware to go through. You have to reuse the factory hardware. I did also put some anti-seize on it, not really for this, but for the sections in here, just to give it a little bit of something to pivot on other than just, you know, metal to plastic and whatnot. The exact stuff I used is this. So I don't think it will make anything worse. I'm not sure if it will make it better, but I don't think it will make it worse. So what I have right here is my clutch pedal adapter from MalWood. Picked this up from Power by the Hour. And this should be a direct bolt in for what I got. So I'll show you what I have to do to get this guy in. And this is for the clutch itself, to convert it to a hydraulic clutch. So I suppose this isn't really Foxbody specific, or this isn't, you know, my transmission specific. It's just for converting any Foxbody into a hydraulic clutch setup. So the first thing you got to do is get this shaft all the way through. It does come with new bushing, so put this side on first, and then you got to leave this one off because this spring won't be able to slide past it. Slide this into place and then put this other bushing in place. And now this side should sit in between there to limit its motion. So if you look on the inside here, you can see that bolt that I have screwed in, and that goes into this part of the bracket right here. And then the other part goes right down here. And then when the master cylinder comes through the firewall, it will peek through both of these holes, and that's how this gets secured. So right there and right there are your mounting points. And then you can finally put this guy on and have it actually attached so that it works freely. Snug this down. They don't give you an actual torque rating, but whatever. Next thing you want to do is get this guy in place, this clip. So you can undo it from that little indent here. Come over onto this side. So I just moved this right underneath, and then now I should be able to, even by hand, do that. And now my clutch pedal will want to spring back forward. And then let's see. Just like that. Think we're ready. The only other thing that we have is to mount the reservoir and then also run our line, but we're going to do that once it's in the car. So inside of the car, I have this bracket. This is the Maximum Motorsports spacer. It's just loosely on here. We got to slide this on and then tighten it down. I just had it in place so that it didn't flop around on me right now. The only thing I am worried about is I'm not sure if this stud right here is long enough to go through this spacer and the bracket that I just installed. So we'll see. You know how I tell you guys that I don't know what I'm doing, like all the time? That has to be bent into the car. So I'm gonna go bend it the other way. It makes sense because, you know, the Hydroboost is in the way out here, but whatever. I think I got a little carried away. But yeah, I got that one bolt in, or that nut in place. Doesn't really thread all the way. I'm not sure if it's gonna be a big deal, but I may reach out to Maximum Motorsports and see if I can get like a longer version of that one stud and maybe press that on in the future. But for now, it is working, so yeah. With that said, this is on. These have adjustments. These pedals here have adjustments. I just have mine to be kind of like flush with everything else. I may move it out, may move it up. I don't really know right now. I just have it in place there. This right here is a bracket to hold on the accelerator pedal, right? Pretty important. But it does say you may need to trim this up. So I'm gonna end up having to trim around this bolt mainly. That way the steering shaft can go through and not be pushed out of the way or be too close, because this hole is supposed to be right about here, I think. So I'll go ahead, I'll undo these two little screws and then just get that bolted in. It's held in just by these two nuts though on the other side. Super simple install. I don't think I necessarily need to show that. But I'll just kind of mark this and then give it some more clearance. You can kind of see this little ear that comes off of it from the backside. I think I'm pretty much just going to be taking almost all this off because I don't really think it's that important for the structure of it. I'll do it on the top and the bottom, and then I don't know if I want to cut this other side off. It doesn't mount to anything, but I don't necessarily feel like removing it for some reason. But I'll see if this touches once I have it actually sitting flush. So I got this mounted up. I removed the 2 little screws that were behind here. Just these little guys that work for the boot. Reason being is they were pushing it out a little bit. But with these too tight, it actually shouldn't even let this thing move at all because it does kind of press against it. I could probably massage this down and make it work. I don't really think I have to. I don't know. Either way, it works. One thing I do feel like I should note is I did not install, once I got this shaft on, I did not install the brake switch here to, you know, let the car know that it's engaged because I don't have it with me. I don't know where it ended up over the time. But all this stuff, I'm missing all the sensors from here. I'll be throwing them in on a later date. I just want to let you guys know, whatever you guys took off, you got to put back on. With this done, I think though I can put the steering shaft back in once I get this mount back in place. So I went ahead and I put this bracket back on. I got this little guy, which should be for the clutch switch. I'm not sure if this gets reused or not. For this style, I would imagine it does, but I also put this bracket back on, still missing that bolt that I think I was missing before. At least I hope so. Got this little bracket on, and then I also mounted up the reservoir for the clutch. So basically, you just want to make sure that this tank is higher, or is the highest point in the system, if at all possible. That's the biggest thing to get the air bubbles out. I know I'll maybe have an issue with that little section, but I'll be able to get it. I did notice that this fitting right here is a different size than the factory one for the 2018 Mustang, because the UPR clutch kit, the braided line that I got, fits on the transmission side or the clutch side, but it does not fit up here. So I'll have to figure out which adapter I need, and then I got that in place. But it's actually starting to look like some real pedals here. So got this whole thing set up. I think now that this is all in place, I'll try and double check everything, but I can work my way up to the front end and start doing the cooling system inside of this car.